man. Why must I chase the cat?
Good evening and welcome to Posse Presents. Here we are on probably, I would say, one of the hottest Saturday nights we've had in a long time. It's awful out there, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But first, I want to give a little birthday shout out, which I'm prone to do at times. First and foremost, tomorrow is my godson's birthday. Michael, I wish you a happy birthday. Most people would not imagine, like me and kids and all that stuff, but yes, I have a godson, and he is a very handsome young man. Should have brought a picture, but I didn't. Life goes on. He knows he's a handsome young man, and so do I. Anyway, also a happy birthday to a dear friend, Todd, tomorrow. Todd's like one of those really cool people. You know, you meet those people once in a lifetime that are just like so awesome, really great personality, funny, good-hearted type of person, and that kind of describes him in a nutshell. So, Todd, happy birthday to you. He likes animals. He's just got it all going on. So happy birthday to Todd. You know, if you like animals, you're like automatically like, I pay attention. Unfortunately, not everybody knows how to treat them. You know, you run into people, well, what kind of dog do you have, or what kind of, pet do you have? Because, you see them purchasing items or, whatever, and, they start talking about, I got the mother, and I got the puppy, and I got, did you get it spayed or neutered? No, well, and you sort of lose interest because you realize they're not on the same wavelength as you. But, yeah, animal lovers they interest me. But anyway, birthdays aside and my ramblings aside, we've got kind of good news this week. Yesterday, Buster and Bentley, who I've been talking about probably till you're sick and tired of hearing of them, had a meet and greet. There were several people interested in them. They wanted just one or the other, or just didn't pan out for one reason or another. But through the power of Facebook, a woman saw the two of them posted, and I'm always going to say, Facebook does save lives. She saw them posted and was interested, and her husband, she showed, saw them too, and he was like, call. So that was pretty cool. Apparently they had two dogs that were older, and one passed and the other passed, and sometimes people don't rush out and get dogs right away, or like replace, not that you ever replace, but get another pet right away. And the woman was kind of shocked that the husband was like, yeah, call, read their story and was interested. So her and her young adult son drove over 2 hours yesterday to come and meet the boys. And, unfortunately, yes, they are not always receptive to new people, and, you got to be kind of concerned about the interaction and whether it's going to go well, just as you are with any other situation where you're fostering an animal and, you've got a potential adopter meeting them. You're hoping for the chemistry. I have to say it went swimmingly. Buster and Bentley were not necessarily, particularly Bentley, okay, let's not lie, not necessarily on the best behavior at all times, but it certainly didn't deter the interest. It was love at first sight. The interactions went really well. It was very cool to see two little head cases open up to strangers, which is something that's difficult for them to do. They all sat in the grass, and Bentley kind of like rolled over and was getting belly rubs, and that's not something he does really. So, you see the magic, and you watching it happen, and it's such a good feeling. So, per the rescue's parameters, there will still be a home visit, and that's going to require obviously a road trip. So we're going to bring the boys along, and as long as everything pans out when we get there, they will be staying. So congratulations to Buster and Bentley, who really look like they're going home. And I couldn't be more pleased, not just because like, you know, okay, now they're going to be gone and out of my care, because that's not, you know, that's not what fostering is about. Like, okay, let me foster them and thank God they're gone, you know. But because it really seems like the wait for them was worth it, because it really seems like they're going to be in good hands. The people seem fabulous. They handled them well. The dogs seem to love them. You know, they get the whole mindset. They saw some of the behaviors. You know, like I said, nothing that they were told scared them off. They will have just Buster and Bentley, so they will have all the attention. And I'm over the moon, you know, barring anything unforeseen. Yep, moving day, as I'm calling it, will be next weekend. And so now, you know, it's my turn to start getting sad because they're going to be leaving. You know, it's fostering is such a, I don't do it often. It's, you know, I give credit to people who do it all the time, but, you know, you get those moments where, like, oh my God, you know, it's just another thing to take care of, and, you know, what did I get myself into? And you kind of kick yourself sometimes, but then when you know they're leaving, it flips around and you start to get, like, all emotional about it. You know, I mean, for the love of God, I cried when Odie left last year. You know, he was with me for about a month, probably about the same length of time I've had Buster and Bentley. And when he left, I bawled like a baby. I was like a blubbering idiot, you know? I mean, you get, no matter how much in denial you are about being attached, you get attached. And, you know, there's people who do this over and over and over, and I give them credit. And maybe they become slightly less emotional over it, but it's still got to be like that same feeling, you know? Because all you can think, like when I took Buster and Bentley out yesterday, they looked at me with this uncertainty, you know, like, where are we going? What's happening now? Because every time they've gone for a ride, it's been a big life change for them. You know, they were taken from their home, they went to a couple of foster homes, you know, they've been in a few different situations, and every time they've gotten in a car, it's been, you know, a big life change. So it was kind of heartbreaking to watch them looking at me as we got in the car and not sure what was going on. And, you know, then we got home and they were still kind of like, you know, a little ambivalent about what was that all about. And so next weekend it's going to be that trip for them where we pack up all their stuff, and they're really going to wonder, but hopefully they will, you know, be as receptive to their new family as they were yesterday. And I know they'll be in great hands. So that's kind of what it's all about. And, you know, at this point, I'm going to make another one of those pleas for people to step up to the plate and foster, you know. Like I said, I don't do it that often. I'm not looking for a pat on the back, because that's not why you do it. There are people who constantly and consistently have foster animals in their home, and I give them a great amount of respect and kudos, because it takes a lot, you know. People don't foster because they have nothing else going on in their lives. People foster because it's just the right thing to do. You know, they make room, they make time. It's another mouth to feed, it's another dog to walk, it's another litter box to scoop, whatever the situation. You know, that foster animal is probably only getting a part of that person, but that part of a part is something that animal is grateful for, and without that part of a part, that animal would have nothing and might even lose its life. So, you know, if you can begin to think about trying it, you know, do it, like I always say, do it wisely, and take an animal into your house that is going to mesh with your lifestyle and your home, but do it, because it saves lives. And that's just going to bring me into the fact that there are still too many urgents out there in the pounds. You know, they're down to 13 in New Haven, and down to 13 I mean, that's from 17, so they've really only moved 4 dogs. That's too many dogs' lives at stake, you know, and New Haven's not the only one. If you've got a pound near you, guaranteed there are dogs sitting there and in danger of losing their lives because no one's adopting them. So really, and I know I've gone through it before, and I went through it last week, and I'll go through it 1,000 more times during the life of this show. Fostering really does save lives. If you have any kind of connection to an animal rescue, you know, reach out to them, and if you see a dog or a cat or whatever that you're interested in, let them know that you might be willing to foster. You know, go meet that animal, work it out with the rescue, you know, to pull the animal and basically sponsor it, unless you're in a position to do it on your own. But if you do it through a rescue, at least then you're not in the position to have to try to place it yourself. You know, the rescue will take the applications, the rescue will field all the inquiries, and basically administer the adoption process. You're basically the safe haven for the animal in the interim. You know, my involvement with Buster and Bentley in this meet and greet yesterday was, yeah, they've been with me for 4 weeks, so I was the person who was best able to tell the potential adopters that, you know, this is how they are, this is what goes on, this is the schedule we're on, this is what they like, this is what they don't like. That's your role as the foster. You know, it's not, it hasn't been up to me to talk to people, to field inquiries and applications and have to do references. If you're fostering through a rescue group, it doesn't fall on you. What falls on you is taking care of the animal, and that ends up being the most important. And like I said, that can go the way of, you see an animal in a pound, and you know, you say to the rescue, hey, let's do this thing, you pull the dog, and you know, I'll take care of it. Or if you see a rescue that's looking for fosters, sign up, because I'm sure they have plenty of animals that need homes. You know, my concern in this instance is it's the animals that are in the pounds that are going to die. And you know, as I said last week, this is that time of year, unfortunately, where people are more interested in their summer and their fun and whatever else they're doing, and animals are sitting in pounds and animals are going to die, and it's kind of too early in the season for that. So if you can do it, please do it. Like I said, you're going to spread yourself a little thinner. You're going to you know, make the room, find the time, do what you got to do, but you'll do it, and you'll be saving a life, and that's what matters. If you're not sure where to go for information on adoptable animals, you know, you can definitely go to some of the pounds do have websites. They're on Pet Finder, they're on Facebook. But if you want one central location, I always recommend the Facebook page Helping Connecticut Canines, which is marvelously run. The woman who runs it, Judy Falbo, is fabulous. She stays on top of everything. She doesn't go by hearsay. She gets firsthand information. She you know, her descriptions of these animals is impeccable. She gets really involved. She pours her heart into it, and she really has her finger on the pulse of what goes on with the shelter animals and who needs the most help. So that is my suggestion, if you're considering it at all, to go and take a look and see what dogs might be out there that you could possibly help. And that's it's a great page. On another note, I did mention how warm it is today, and it has been the last few days. It's kind of been ungodly. I had my first altercation with someone who left their dogs in the car in this heat. And Wednesday was just as hot as any of the rest of the days this week, and I was leaving a business, and I heard in a parking lot, in an adjacent parking lot, barking. So I was like, all right, really? You know, the voices in my head all started speaking at once, you know, and it was very hard to calm them down for a moment so that I could collect my thoughts. And I'm looking around, and sure enough, I'm following the sound, and there's what looked like one dog sitting in a car. And Wednesday was what, like pretty much close to 92? Not sure, but regardless, it was too hot. And let me just mention that the air quality advisements that have been going on all this week, they apply to your animals too, because if it's hard for a human to breathe, it's going to be just as hard for an animal to breathe. And I know there was one in effect on Wednesday. But anyway, so we walk over to this car, and there's this little dog, and it's yapping and yapping and yapping. And of course, yep, the windows are all cracked open. You know, woohoo for you, you left your windows open. But, you know, she also left the sunroof open. Now, there's two reasons why that's bad, but I'm going to go into the first reason, and that is that the sun was beating down right on the dog. You know, so really, what did you accomplish? You left the windows open. There really was no breeze. What were you thinking? Then you leave the sunroof open so the sun's beating on this poor dog while it's barking its head off. I mean, at least keeping the sunroof closed, the sun's not beating on the dog. So as we got closer, we realized there were two dogs in there. Now, you know, there's people have different approaches, you know. If you go busting into the restaurant, because it was outside a restaurant, you go busting in the restaurant, she may or may not be in there. You know, if there's a bank of stores, you really don't know where the person's in. You really don't want to be confrontational, you know, and start something, but you got to kind of do something. So I've had luck with making a phone call. Who do you call? You know, animal control is one option, but depending on the time of day, animal control may not be available. They may not be answering the phone. You know, if they're off duty, it's really a moot point. What are you going to do? Leave a note? I mean, leave a message? You know, oh, hey, there's, you know, a dog in a car, and like the next morning they get the message. What good did that do? So my luck has been with actually calling the local police, because really the police are involved with animal control. They can reach them by radio. They can reach them via cell phone. They have more immediate access to animal control officers. So, you know, here I am. I'm calling information. I'm trying to get the number for the local police. And, you know, unfortunately, it delayed the progress of what I was trying to do, because instead of getting the local police, information gave me the state police, which really did, you know, sometimes you just can't, you don't have control over stuff. So now I don't hear what the officer says when he answers the phone. I'm like, who is this? Is this the police? He's like, yeah, this is, you know, state police, whatever barracks. I'm like, what? It was a little frustrating, because like now I'm just trying to get somebody to come out, which I've had, like I said, success before. Sometimes they will get animal control to come out. Sometimes the police will respond. I was just trying to initiate that phone call. But in the meantime, this woman comes out, and this is her car. So in as non-confrontational manner as possible, you know, I was like, hey, how you doing? You know, it's awful hot to have your dogs in the car. And she immediately gets defensive. You know, oh, it was only 5 minutes. I'm trying to tell her 5 minutes is far too long. Oh, you know, and, you know, she just starts rambling. And she's like, are you calling the cops? I'm like, yep, but I'm still pretending to be on my phone at that point, because, you know, I figure if I'm going to make her day, I'm going to make her day. But, and my friends standing there like, yep, we're calling the cops. We're both like making that whole phone thing go on. You know, this woman's like, oh, I was only 5 minutes. Trying to say 5 minutes is far too long. So she's like, you just wait a minute. And she starts to march back inside like she was trying to get somebody to vouch for her. I said, lady, you're going to leave your dogs in the car a little longer? Why don't you just get in the car and turn the air conditioning on and be on your way? So she goes inside, and my friend and I are like scratching our head like, now what? Now I'm still trying to get the local number for the police, and this is going nowhere. So the lady comes back out, and she's like, I'm a good mother, and this. I said, not if you leave your dogs in the car. You know, she wanted to be, I don't have to explain myself. There was really kind of no talking to her. I'm like, why don't you just get in the car and go? They're hot. They're, you know, it was like craziness. And my friend and I were just like scratching our heads. And, you know, she was more concerned, you calling the cops and, you know, all this other stuff. It's like, yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say to you is probably the first thing you should do is get the local police number, call the routine number, don't call the 911 number unless there's blood, guts, and gore, because they're not going to be very receptive to it. When you do make the phone call, try to be clear and concise. You know, if you're hysterical and rambling and you know, like a screaming Mimi because there's a dog in the car, yes, it's an emergency. I'm not trying to say it's not, but you're going to get a lot more, I think, positive reaction if you're making that phone call, if you're clear, concise, and very calm, you know, other than being like some hysterical person that they're just going to dismiss. Because I don't know about you, but when someone starts a conversation by rambling and not making sense, you kind of tune out right away, and that's not really cool, and it just wastes time because you want to be, you know, right to the point and get them out there as soon as possible. Anyway, there's a lot of people who, you know, oh, you know, if I see a dog in a hot car, I'm going to break the windows and this and that. There's a lot of sides to that too, and I can't, in clear conscience, publicly promote what could be construed as criminal activity, which is, you know, basically what that's going to boil down to. You know, you have to take every situation in the moment. If the dog is, you know, in the throes of dying, you know, you got to do what you got to do. But, you know, your first line of defense is really the best thing to do is to call the cops. You know, breaking windows and doing damage and things like that's just a really, really gray area. And, you know, if you're going to do something like that, you've really got to expect that you're going to face criminal charges. It's very, you know, very gray area, because it's not like, you know, I'm pretty sure it'd be the same thing if you tried to get a kid out of a car. You know, you're breaking windows, and it's criminal. But, you know, again, every situation in the moment, and you know, just try, if you're gonna approach people, not to be confrontational. Try to be educational. Some people bring handouts and stuff, you know, for people, leave it on the car and whatnot, or just hand it to them about heat stroke. And, you know, idiots are going to be idiots, and not everybody's going to be receptive. But on the same note about the heat in the summer, if you've got to take your dog somewhere, you know, bring plenty of water, bring a bowl, don't leave them in the car. And, you know, one of the things that people really don't seem to think about either is the pavement gets hot. You know, even the concrete, which is cooler than blacktop, gets hot. Now, really, would you walk barefoot through a parking lot on a day like today? I don't think so. I sure wouldn't. And while a dog's feet are a lot tougher than our feet, and, you know, that's obviously on purpose, they're not completely resistant to burning on that hot pavement. So you really have to think about, if you're going to take your dog somewhere, what kind of terrain you have to cover to get where you're going. You know, don't leave them standing on the blacktop. Don't leave them standing on the concrete. Try to stay in the shade. Now, I was in an event a couple of years ago, and I'm watching people walk around with their dogs, and I'm like, you're on blacktop, and you're just parading back and forth with this dog. How hot must his feet be? You know, years ago when I had my Daisy, and she was my only, we used to go on all kinds of adventures together. I would take her on vacations, you know, weekend excursions and stuff like that. And I would know where we were going to be. And it was the coolest thing. And I haven't found them since I got them for her, but there were these really cool boots to protect her feet. And they were like a suede-y kind of material. And they had they wrapped around, and they came up like this. And like her little nails could stick out, so that there was no discomfort, and they had laces. and you tie them up, and it was a lot better than the Velcro winter boots that you see for the dogs that they can shake off because they never end up tight enough. But she literally had, there was a set of 4, and it would protect the bottom of her, protect her pads from the heat. And she was absolutely fine with them because they fit fine, they didn't hurt her nails, and they were tan. So I called them her Daisy Crockett boots because they were just way too cool. But that's something to look into, if you're going to be out and about with your dogs, as crazy as it sounds. I had further reasons with Daisy because she had discoid lupus, and that caused her nose and her pads to be more sensitive to the weather and to the sun. I used to have to put sunblock on her nose. Go figure, I used to get like the baby sunblock that's like 45, 50, 60 sunblock, and put it on her nose so it wouldn't be damaged by the sun. But think about your dog's comfort and think about your dog's safety. People are going to look, people are going to laugh, but what's more important? If you're going to have your animal out and about, you don't want it to be uncomfortable. That's just my thing. Daisy and her Daisy Crockett boots, they're up in her memory box because that's just the kind of fool that I am, and I never have found them again. So if anybody sees them out there, drop me a line because I'd love to be able to promote them. I don't know where, in a million years I wouldn't know where to find them anymore, but they were really cool. So we're winding down. Doesn't look like we have more than a minute or so, I guess. We will be back for the next season. The schedule came out this year. We've got our Saturday night lineup of Pound Posse Presents, Speedo 316, and Jagged Ice after that. It's kind of all in the extended family, I guess. So we will, what is that, covers June, late June, July, August, September. So Pound Posse Presents will be around. If you want to be on, give me a shout. Tonight, we say goodnight, peace, love, and dogs. Next week we've got a guest. Wait and see who it would be. Have a great week and take care of those dogs in the heat. Good night, everybody. Goodbye.